Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the NW Sportscast post-game show. The Mariners lose another one to the Kansas City Royals. Back-to-back losses. Levi, what happened in this 8-4 loss? Back-to-back losses once again, at the hands of the Kansas City Royals.
Well, Drew, unfortunately tonight, Luis Castillo, he just didn't have it. 5 innings, 5 earned runs.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Kirby Snead, he gives up a couple runs as well. Not that you expect Kirby Snead to be great, but just a rough night for the pitchers. Offensively, 4 runs is pretty good for our team. We average, I think, about 3.8 runs a game, so 4 is about what you expect from the Mariners.
Yeah.
Hard for me to blame this one on the offense. JP gets it going with a home run in the top of the first, and then the Royals, they tied it up in the bottom of the first. It was 1-1. Of course, Drew, you informed me of this one. Former Mariner
Adam Frazier.
He goes
killed
deep.
us all night, yeah.
Adam Frazier goes deep to make it 2-2. Then we have Mitch Garver. He goes deep for the 7th time this season. Ties the game up.
Mitch Garver been heating up a little bit.
Yeah, Mitch Garver has been getting hot lately. So now the game is tied. J.P. Crawford actually gives the Mariners the lead in the 5th inning. But then Royals
all went downhill for the Mariners.
And they came right back. Frazier tied the game, scoring on a Nick Lofton RBI single. Then Vinny Pasquantino with a 2-run double. Tough one for the M's. Then the Mariners actually tried to, maybe mount a comeback. Dylan Moore hit a sac fly, made it 5-4. But then Kyle Isbell, with the bases loaded, he came up and knocked in a few more runs, and the Royals come up with the win, 8-4.
Yeah, this is now back-to-back starts, Levi, where the pitching has kind of let down the offense in a sense. We had a conversation a few days ago where I kind of was saying, look, what does it have to take for the Mariners pitching staff to make the All-Star game? And we were kind of talking about it, and I was thinking, okay, for a guy like Bryce Miller, for Logan Gilbert, and for George Kirby, they're going to need to have an exceptional rest of the June month and the beginning of July to make the All-Star game, and Luis Castillo has to have a good month as well. Now, your first 2 guys, Luis Castillo and Bryce Miller,
Last night, Bryce,
they might have played themselves out of an All-Star berth. The Mariners, that has been so ingrained in pitching, have kind of let down the Mariners offense, which is kind of a good change, to be honest, but it's not what you want right now. A Mariners team that's really hot is turning into a team that kind of looks vulnerable against a really good Kansas City Royals team.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. The Royals obviously are a good team, so it's hard for me to be super disappointed. I mean, you're going to lose games to good teams. That's how baseball is. But seeing Castillo struggle like that, seeing Bryce Miller yesterday struggle, and seeing the bullpen continuing to struggle without Andres Munoz, although from what I've heard, Munoz is probably going to be okay. He's probably going to be able to pitch tomorrow. He might have been available tonight if we needed him.
Yeah.
So that's good news. But yeah, seeing the pitching struggle, it's tough. It's tough because I was really hoping that we could see multiple Mariners in the All-Star game this year, and right now, we're on trajectory to only probably have one.
One, yeah. Especially with Andres Munoz injury, who was available today, did not end up pitching, I believe.
You know who wasn't available, Drew? Ty France.
Ty France, yeah, he was scratched. And that's huge. Ty France has actually been playing really well as of late. Now you have Luke Raley at the first base position, who has been slowing down. Another overnight, he drops to 262 average. Another guy that's kind of a little bit colder right now, Cal Raleigh. And that's not just right now. That's been since April. Cal Raleigh has been...
Well, since May 20th. May 20th from...
He's been abysmal since middle of May. And now we're approaching, middle of June. He escapes the Mendoza line by getting a hit tonight. He's at 201. Levi, Cal Raleigh is such an essential part to this lineup. He's hitting into that 4-hole for a reason. How does a guy like Cal Raleigh really avoid these prolonged slumps that we've seen in AAA, and then we saw in the beginning of his major league career, and we've even seen in the last couple of years where he's been kind of a defined starter? Cal Raleigh, he goes in these long slumps as a switch hitter, which usually doesn't happen. How does he avoid that going forward, to start to get the little things going right?
Well, you got to learn how to hit the baseball consistently. Cal loves trying to hit for power, and to his credit, he leads the team in home runs, and he has led the team in home runs all season long. But he also hasn't hit a home run in a while.
Yeah.
And, when you have no power, when you're not hitting for power, and you're also not hitting for average, it's tough to justify. I mean, look, Cal, he should be right now, if you look at the lineup, theoretically, he's your second best hitter. I mean, maybe Garver, but Garver's been terrible this year. So,
yeah.
But then you look at the OPS, and it's not that different. Garver
that's
right
what I'm
now.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Levi, guess how many guys? Okay, Cal Raleigh's OPS 678.
Right, and Garver's at 640.
And what's Julio at?
661.
661 for Julio. That might be the bigger problem. Julio is hitting above 260 right now. Cal just at 201. But Julio unable to put the ball in the air. It looked like for a little bit there he might have figured it out, but still struggling. He picks up a hit tonight. But what should Julio do to really, take that step forward that we've kind of... I don't even know if you can call it a step forward. Because we've seen him.
Right.
We've already seen him at the level. We have seen him to get back to where he was last year or the year before.
Drew, my advice for Julio is just stay locked in. He's
not locked in, though.
Well, he has to be locked in.
But right now, it looks like he's unable to hit the ball hard in the air consistently.
I think he's been improving. I think he's reaching a point where...
He's the third lowest OPS in the starting lineup tonight. That's not going to get done for Julio Rodriguez, who is your MVP caliber player on this team, the guy that pitchers fear in the lineup. Right now, you look at the Yankees, you got Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Volpe, etc. You go to the Mariners, and it's like Julio, Josh Rojas, Cal Raleigh, they're all struggling. The Mariners pitching has been carrying this team to an AL West lead, and now you're at a point where finally the pitching is starting to, have a couple of bad starts, and all of a sudden the Mariners offense doesn't know what to do. And I know you put up 8 runs yesterday, but you put up 7 in the first inning, and then you were unable to tack on more after that. The Mariners offense needs to figure out a way to pick up the Mariners pitching when they go down, because this pitching will carry the offense, but at the end of the day, we've said it all season long, this team will go as far as the hitting takes it, and that's because we know what we're going to get in the pitching, Levi.
Absolutely. I mean, the pitching is going to give us above average. Tonight, was it above average? No, tonight was below, but normally we're going to get above average pitching. The good news, Drew, is that the Rangers, they lost again. So the Mariners still
this AL West is so bad, yeah.
5 games above Texas. Houston is 6 games back, and Oakland is 10 games back. Honestly, I'm not really worried about Oakland. I'm not worried about the Angels. I'm still a little bit looking at the Astros, but...
I'm 100% looking at the Astros. How can you not?
Well, because we've dominated. We've absolutely owned them this year.
It's true, but the Astros are just so pesky. You still got Closell to beat all the guys.
And we're 5-2 against Houston. I think we're pretty much...
You think we're better team?
In the driver's seat. I think we're in the driver's seat. Now, does that mean we have the division on locks?
Well, no. True. And you know where we're not in the driver's seat for?
What?
This division or this series against the Royals.
We're not. We lost the series. This is our 4th series loss in 16. Yeah. So we're winning. Look, the bottom line, we're losing 1 out of 4 series. That's pretty darn good.
Very good. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like to me like the Mariners are that hot.
Well, that's because we've lost 2 in a row. But, I mean, yeah, we're 3-3 in our last 6.
I think we've gone lucky. I think the pitching's been carrying this offense.
Yeah.
I think we got to figure out a way to win a game tomorrow. That's what I feel like.
And I sure hope that we do. Look at the probable pitchers tomorrow for the Mariners. It is, I believe it should be George Kirby tomorrow. And for the Royals, it looks like it's going to be Cole Reagans. Cole Reagans has a 3.21 ERA.
He's good. He's a good pitcher.
4-4. He's a lefty, so I assume that means we are going to see, Mitch Haniger probably going to be in the outfield. Canzone doesn't play against lefties, and neither does Josh Rojas. Yeah. So we're probably going to see Ryan Bliss back in the lineup. Drew, I want to hear your take very quickly here. Ryan Bliss yesterday hit a home run, and then today he's out of the lineup because of splits. Meanwhile, Rojas, who was in the lineup, he's been in a big slump. He hasn't been doing well at all. Do you think the Mariners should abandon their strategy of always platooning every single one of their bench players and just play the guy who is, a hyped-up prospect?
Yeah. Well, whether it be Scott's service, whether it be the Mariners, hitting ideology, I don't know what it is, but the righty-lefty matchups is a huge deal for this Mariner offense. And you look at it, and although I think the numbers make it make sense, at some point you got to realize, look, numbers don't always tell the full story. And Ryan Bliss, who's definitely more hot than Josh Rojas of sorts, I think definitely should deserve ABs. With that being said, if you're going to give Josh Rojas ABs right now, which you have to try to get him back in rhythm, you're going to give him ABs against, the other side of the pitching mound. So, look, do I think it was a bad decision to sit Rojas in this moment or sit Bliss in this moment for Rojas? Not necessarily. I think you're kind of in a lose/win-win scenario.
Yeah.
You gotta play Bliss. You gotta play Rojas. Bliss is playing better right now, but Rojas has got the lefty-righty matchup. So, that's where I feel about that. I'm not super concerned. I'm not super frustrated. However, I will give you credit, Levi. Ryan Bliss, the guy that you've been looking out for. He's been looking pretty good.
He has. And I think Ryan Bliss, I think there's going to be more coming out of him in the coming weeks. I haven't seen any updates on Polanco. I haven't also seen any updates on France. I'm going to
Polanco, our big
Twitter
freaking acquisition.
Really
Yeah, Polanco's our big acquisition. Where has he been? Ty France, our all-star from a couple years ago. Now he's hurt. Julio Rodriguez hasn't been able to play at that all-star caliber. Mitch Garver, he hit 280-something with Texas. Now he has been completely fallen off with the Mariners. I can keep going down the list. J.B. Crawford was hurt most of the year. He's had a good game today, struggled most of the season. You can go up and down the order. This Mariner offense has been really, really bad. And what you need to do if you're Scott Service, what you need to be doing if you are the front office for the Mariners, is somehow find a way to get another scary bat in that middle of the order. Now, whether that be somehow get Luke Raley to be that scary bat, somehow get Jorge Polanco to come back and be that dude, Mitch Garver, or you trade for Vlad Guerrero, for Pete Alonso, someone along those lines, to really beef up that middle, the heart of the lineup. I think that's what you really need to do. That's my opinion on the offense right now. Not great, but they'd definitely be better if a few players who you expect to be good would be good for the Mariners / stay on the field. Levi, you got any updates for Ty France for us?
We do. 15 minutes ago, according to Ryan Divish, Scott Service said he was concerned about when Ty France was hit in the heel yesterday and it was causing some problems today. Drew, hot take. Will he be on the IL? And if so, should Tyler Locklear be called up? What do you think?
He will not be on the IL. Ty France is a big guy. I think he leads the team, the franchise history in hit by pitches passes. Edgar Martinez. He does. He's not going to go in the IL. And if he did, I don't think we go with Locklear. I think we do a platoon with Luke Raley, Dylan Moore, etc. And we call up, I don't know exactly who we call up from the minors. Maybe you call a backup Clase, get some speed on the base paths. You probably give more ABs to the new guy, Mr. Victor Robles, and that's probably what I would do in that scenario. But no, I don't think Ty France will go in the IL, and if he does, I think we leave Locklear in the minors for a little bit longer.
I think if he goes in the IL, Locklear is going to be coming up.
Locklear's not that good. So, what do you really get out of that?
Locklear's been hitting well in AAA.
He's been good.
I mean, he had a walk-off hit, I believe, 2 days ago.
But he's hitting under 300, if I believe, in AAA, which doesn't sound like much, but in AAA, that's the easiest place to get a hit in the minors.
Sure,
is AAA baseball. That's Pacific Coast League. He's known for a lot of hits, a lot of home runs.
The PCL offensive league, but Tyler Locklear has not been playing bad. He is a pretty highly rated prospect. Yeah. Drew, do you think Ty France, with some injury possibilities here, do you think this accelerates the need for the Mariners to trade for a first baseman at the deadline? Vladdy, Paul Goldschmidt, Christian Walker, Pete Alonso, one of those guys, or any of them, do you think there's a higher chance or lower chance now than there was 2 days ago that we trade for one of them?
No. And I'm going to say that again.
Wow.
I think it's because I don't think Ty France is going to go in the IL.
All right.
And I think that even with Ty France not going on the L, it's still a good idea to get a Pete Alonso, to get a Vlad Guerrero, even if they are going to play more DH. If Ty France is going to play more DH, I think it's a smart idea to get one more bat, and it just happens to be that in this not the off season, but in this trade deadline rotation, a lot of those guys are DH / first baseman type of dudes. Ty France is a good player, but I still do think that Vlad Guerrero has a higher ceiling, lower floor. And although he's been struggling the last couple of years, so has Ty France. I think if you can jump on Vlad Guerrero, despite the injury or not, you do that. You still keep Ty on the team, though. You're not just DFAing him or trading him. I think he's going to be a great backup first baseman if you get a guy like Vlad Guerrero / DH role.
See, personally, I DFA him. My logic is if you can't pinch run,
but you're not paying him much.
Field, you're paying him $4.5 million.
But I think $4.5 million for what Ty France is giving you is worth it.
But what's he giving you on the bench?
He's giving you solid first base, solid DH.
On the bench, he's not playing.
He's still playing 2 or 3 times a week in my opinion, first base, because Vlad Guerrero isn't playing well.
Vlad's been playing much better than Ty France.
Yeah, better, but for Vlad Guerrero's standard, if he plays 7 games in a week, you give Ty France 2 days, and you give him 1 day at DH. Now all of a sudden he's playing 3 games.
I don't think that's. I mean, look, if Mookie Betts is hitting 800,
what is Ty France's OPS?
Like 630, 650. I mean, what's you want? Should we pull up the stats here? I mean, I would not. If you trade for Vlad, he's playing every day. If you trade for, I think so. Checking the Mariners, Ty France of the 732. Okay, so he's got a decent OPS.
So 732 OPS. You think you DFA a 732 OPS?
Vlad's at 816.
Yeah, I didn't say Vlad Guerrero isn't better.
So unless the plan is to have Ty France be the full-time DH.
No. You platoon him with Vlad Guerrero.
You're not platooning the 2 guys with the highest OPS on your team.
I think Vlad Guerrero plays 4 or 5 times a week.
At 816 OPS, the highest OPS in your team, you're playing him 4 times a week?
At first base, and then you mix him in at DH a couple times a week. You don't think him playing 6 of 7 games a week, 2 at DH, 4 at first base is a bad idea?
I think you play him every day at first base, play France every day at DH.
Who's a better defender, Ty France or Vlad Guerrero? It's pretty close.
Vlad Guerrero is better.
Not.
Defender?
Not drastically.
Vlad's the one who just played third base the other day. Vlad's also younger. I don't know.
The Ty France debate. Well, the Mariners lose 8-4 to the Royals. Back-to-back losses. They're going to have a chance to kind of salvage this series tomorrow. George Kirby on the bump. Stay tuned to see if me or Levi will give that post-game show. If not, we got our good friend Carter Miller, and he will do that post-game for us. So I think this ends our semi-debate about Ty France / our post-game show. So thank you guys, everybody, for listening all the way to the end of the video. If you like the video, please subscribe to the NW Sportscast. Follow us at NW Sportscast on Twitter, also on Instagram. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you made it all the way to the end of the video. It really does help out the channel a lot. Sorry about for the somewhat infrequent uploads, but it has been a grind. Filming these post-games at 2 a.m. our time most of the time. But anyways, thank you guys so much for staying with us. And as always, Levi,
go Mariners.
See you guys.